Bo. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Reason project, New Beginnings. California rapper and TDE signee, Reason, who for some reason still feels like he's in the process of being rolled out by his label, even though they gave him some prime real estate on that Black Panther soundtrack back in 2018. His debut dropped that same year too, and to say that the impact of it was low would be an understatement. But who knows? Maybe that project was a fluke. Maybe it was a warm-up because Reason didn't exactly come into TDE with a whole lot of mixtapes and singles and features under his belt to begin with. Regardless, though, he did sign with one of the most notable labels in hip-hop right now, pretty much out of the gate, so he's gotta have something for us on this new project, right? I was hoping the bolder cover art this time around would lead to some bolder music, bolder songs, but I only ended up walking away from this thing astounded and not in a good way. I don't really see what Top Dog sees in this, or even in the need to release this now versus just, letting it incubate and improve it, change it, build upon it, especially when you have fans who are fiending for an Isaiah Rashad project, begging for a SZA project. If she waits any longer to release an album, it's going to be a detriment to her career. But what we have instead is this Reason record, and geez, is it forgettable and derivative. For one, there's virtually nothing about Reason's voice, his flow, or his lyrical style that I could describe in detail positively or negatively, outside of maybe noting that some of his performances on this thing come off nearly emotionless, maybe a little monotone. So on this project, front to back, his rapping really lacks any sort of flavor, which makes it even harder to stomach when he is so obviously copying his Top Dog contemporaries. Stories I Forgot, the refrain, the beat, the flow on this thing, it all sounds like a store brand version of Kendrick Lamar's Mad City. Meanwhile, Reason's very zany and off-kilter, cracked voice flows and delivery on this track is painful to listen to. And of course, this track is not the only one loaded with Kendrickisms on this project. There are knockoff vocal lines or even beats that sound like they could have been throwaways from Good Kid or even Damned to an extent, whether that be the filtered pianos and atmospheric synth line and persistent kicks on Fall, or even the chunky boom bap rhythms and woozy instrumentation on Slow Down. Plus, it doesn't really help when you have all of these distracting Kendrick ad-libs on the song Showstop, sort of riding over these trap rhythms and mystical lead melodies. Not only that, but Reason is consistently outshined throughout this project by his features. Maybe just listening to him on his own on the intro or the outro track, you might come away thinking, okay, there's certainly potential there, but once he's up against a Schoolboy Q on a track, for example, the gap in the ability to give a compelling performance is very obvious. Q pretty much makes the song Pop Shit sound like an oxymoron B-side. Then there's Jid outshining, even though it's not one of his best verses. Rhapsody, pretty handily. Absol, it's no contest. The only feature on this thing that didn't jump out at me was Isaiah Rashad, and he didn't sound like his normal self on the song Extinct. He was really out of his element, or at least underplaying it on purpose. This is not Why Worry Isaiah Rashad. So for one track after another, New Beginnings just breezes by without much in the way of aha moments, standout bars, sticky refrains or hooks, crazy production. Much of the time when Reason is actually leaving an impression on me, it's when he's floundering, whether it be on the opener when he drops that bar about being like Bed Bath & Beyond, he has a lot in store. What? There's also Favorite, whose instrumental positions the track to be a banger, but over it, Reason just delivers this generic stream of threats and braggadocio, and it doesn't really go much of anywhere. Especially when he's going off on this weird tangent, hoes wanna fuck me, yeah, she can't touch me, yeah, your bitch ugly, yeah, you disgust me, yeah, Your bitch not my type, no, no. You got lucky, yeah. There are moments on this thing where he comes off like really bitter with some old head energy, ranting about how people don't listen to shit unless it has sex appeal. As if sex appeal in hip-hop or mainstream music in general is a new thing. You know, not only were there video vixens in the 80s and 90s, but the Nelly tip drill video is now 20 years old. Swipe that credit card through the booty. Plus, at the end of the day, the irony in all of this for me is that you are literally represented by one of the biggest, most notable labels in hip-hop, which reputationally is the antithesis to a lot of these narratives. If you want to counteract them, I guess the label would just need to release more music from the key artists that fans really care about. But then waters there get choppy too, because some of Reason's most salient bars on this project have to do with labels and the industry, which kind of comes at a head on the song Windows Cry, the closer, where he's painting this picture of paranoia and being left out in the cold by the label, being left with no options were they to decide to screw him, despite the fact they just allowed you to drop 2 projects in 2 years. And look, for sure, labels and the industry at large, especially TDE, have critiques that are worth leveling, but Reason doesn't exactly come across as any more knowledgeable on these topics than any other rapper who is ranting and raving about this stuff. Especially those who have come through with really great creative concept albums about this whole web of lies and industry traps and so on and so forth. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly, thank you. So, I don't know. I'm at a loss with this one. It's painfully mediocre from front to back. Total lack of compelling verses and performances. Forgettable beats. Really the only thing that was likable about it was some of the features, and many of those just came by way of his connections with TDE. So like can I really give it to him for getting some good features on here from Schoolboy and from Ab-Soul? While I suppose there's always room for change and growth and alteration in one's artistic trajectory, I can't say I came away from this project expecting big things from Reason into the future, because I just don't really see what he's bringing to the table. Vocally, lyrically, beat choices, there's not really a whole lot here to work with. Feeling a light to decent 3 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Reason, forever.